Well, you and I have talked about Eminem on a number of occasions.
Too much. Do we have to?
We have to talk about this.
Because I think you might talk about Eminem more than I talk about Eminem.
Possibly.
And I think you're the reason I always get in Eminem conversations.
Right. Well,
me, you, and Lord Jamar.
Lord Jamar. And we'll get to that. So you were minding your own business one day, and then Fat Joe dropped his album.
My man.
And on the song Lord Above, you get mentioned.
Yeah.
I let her chop my balls off too before I lost to you, Nick. With some other stuff about Mariah.
He said he admitted that he was gonna whoop his ass. He admitted that. Almost got my ass kicked. Almost.
Oh, so he was talking about you kicking.
Who else was gonna kick his ass? I went looking for that motherfucker. We've had this conversation several times.
How close did you get?
I went to Detroit. He don't live in Detroit.
He doesn't live in Detroit?
Not. Now you don't live nowhere near 7 to 8 miles. He lives in Michigan.
In a mansion somewhere.
Yeah, which rightly so. You're supposed to come up.
Of course.
But and then I believe it was the BET Awards. And like I said again at the time, I was managed by Chris Lighty. So was musically at the time. So was Mariah. And we know Chris was managing 50, he was talking to Paul all the time. So there's a lot of conversation going on. And this is, again, this is a decade ago, over a decade ago. And everybody knew how serious I was. Like I was there to defend my wife. I ain't give a fuck about no lyrics. I ain't give a fuck about, like you said some disrespectful shit about my wife and I'm going to beat your ass. That was my mentality in 2009, 10, 8, whatever year that was. And so I was like, I'm trying to, what's happening? Like, I even at the time, crazy people don't know this, Emmanuel Stewart, God rest his soul, one of the greatest boxing trainers ever, was working with M because I think M was supposed to do that boxing movie that Jake Gyllenhaal did. So he was training with dude and Emmanuel. I was at a fight one time and everybody know I box and all that stuff. So Emmanuel was like, yo, he ready for it. I was like, set it up, E. Set it, whatever. All money goes to charity. He was like, I was like, I do this. Like, that's all I wanted. Real talk, I was like, I want to match whatever energy he's on. I know I ain't going to out-rap the motherfucker, but I was like, yo, if he really got a problem with me and my wife, you talking that shit, you got to have, I feel like people can say whatever they want to say in life, but you got to be able to deal with the consequences that come with your mouth.
Well,
simple as that.
To be fair, people at the level of Eminem, you, and even me for that matter, we all have security around us. No one's going to allow a fist fight. Someone's going to get shot in the process. Like,
nah, see, but that's like, because I wasn't on that. I wasn't on some erratic fan shit. I'm on some, let's have a conversation. You disrespected. Like, I had this conversation with Howard Stern. A very man-to-man conversation because me and Howard Stern at first were rivals. I was on his radio station, 92.3 in New York. He was Howard Stern. He said some disrespectful shit about Mariah. Then when he found out I was on the radio, he started going in. I was like, my dude, see me. Like, what we can have a conversation and whatever that escalates to, there. But I'm an intelligent man. Let's first have this conversation. But know that if you disrespect anyone in my family in my face, it's happening. Like whatever, like it's going to turn physical. I didn't have to get that because Howard Stern is a wise man. Sat down, dinner, me, Mariah, Howard. I'm sorry, I was immature. Moved on. I was expecting some of the same things with
Wait, Howard Stern apologized to you and Mariah in person?
Absolutely. Okay. And now Howard Stern is not only one of my closest friends or associates in the industry, but a mentor, someone I call when I need help because, and first of all, Howard Stern is in his 60s. Let's go there. But at that time, he was saying some same level shit that Eminem was saying. And I was like, and this is the root of the problem, Brad. And this is where, I'm all for the jokes, I'm all for the competition and the hip hop. But there's a mentality, it goes all the way back to the slave codes, when the slave codes were established, that there was practices that the slave master, the oppressor, would rape a black woman and make her husband stand there and watch. And he couldn't do anything about it. If he did anything about it, he was dead. It was illegal. So I'm supposed to stand here in 2008, 2009, and let this white man disrespect my wife A woman of color, whatever you want to believe her color is, because that's a whole nother debate. She ain't even black. Her daddy blacker than me from Harlem, but we ain't gonna get into that. like whatever you believe that's a woman of color. And I'm not supposed to do nothing. And then I got my entire community be like, man, let that shit go. Fuck out of here, let that go. Would you let that go if that was your wife? Would you let that go if that was the mother of your children? And this man is gonna sit there and laugh at you in your face because he can rhyme some words together? I'm beating his ass. Or he's gonna have to say, you know what? I didn't see it that way, Nick. You know what? I didn't think it goes all the way back. I see where you're coming from, man, because that not only did I hurt you, but I hurt an entire community based off of my anger. And therefore, now I can project this and continue to see little boys and girls of color have to deal with this racial institutionalization that, a white man can say whatever he wants to say when he's angry and there's no repercussions behind it. No, you're going to see some repercussions. It's going to happen.
Well, he mentioned Mariah again on the Fat Joe song.
Yeah.
Once again.
Once a motherfucker.
I'm not going to read the lyrics.
And mental health. And he didn't get, you know what I mean?
I mean, yeah. Yeah.
As strong as Mariah was to come out and say, yo, I've been dealing with issues and dealing with, and came out and spoke and now is an advocate for it. And he gonna call her a nut job and all that stuff, and you don't see the problem. We just gonna let that ride, huh? We all mental health advocates now all of a sudden, but when Eminem still talking shit from some shit that happened 2 decades ago, and he's Eminem. No, he's white. That's the problem with it.
Well,
and he doesn't have to deal with the same measuring stick that the rest of us have to.